Just want to get in and out of here.
You go get him right quick.
No, they're right here. Thank you.
It's good that you came.
What's happening, brother?
You were like, they're not gonna hold me back.
Welcome, everyone, to the Zebulon Board of Commissioners work session, February 19th. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Thank you for your motion. Is there a second?
A second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Motion passes. Thank you. And now we will go to old business A, finance. Bobby, director.
I'm sorry, I thought we were going to move that to the end of the agenda.
Oh, it's not. Do you want to, are we?
Yeah, I think
I'd
Commissioner
like to
Davis
make
was.
a motion to amend the agenda and move old business to number 3 and presentations to number 2.
Thank you.
Okay. We have a motion for an amended budget. We have a motion for an amended agenda. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? All right. Thank you. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay. So now we will have new business A, presentations.
Thank you. Mayor and Commission, first I want to say I'm really excited to be here for my first meeting this morning or this evening, and I really appreciate you all for trusting me to serve as your town manager. I've had a great week working with the team, and I'm looking forward to continuing that work with them over the course of the year. I'd like to invite Shannon up to have the first agenda discussion and provide an economic development update.
Commissioners, thank you for having me this evening to give you the Economic Development Advisory Board report. So at the Economic Development Update meeting, there was discussion about advisory boards, and this body requested that staff review peer communities and their experiences with advisory boards, which I did, and I'm hoping to show you the value of boards and programs, some different structures and timing. So this is where we are. Community and Economic Development Department was established in 2023 as part of the Planning Department. In 2024, it became a standalone. 2 full-time staff, obviously. 1 position is Main Street, and the other position is my position. And we are in our first year of a little over our first year of the Economic Development Strategic Plan work, and we're on target. And same with Main Street. They're a little further along. They came into the Main Street program in 24, so they're just a little bit more work that they've done on their work plan. And the next 12 to 18 months will be shifting into industrial and commercial recruitment. That work has already started with some infrastructure meetings, and just, you know, that's already starting now, and will come into formal programming in terms of named programs as we bring on more staff. And then our downtown nonprofit in Main Street obviously is still in its infancy, but maturing well, and and really starting to look into, as you will hear in the next presentation, all of the areas of downtown that Main Street supports. So they're really branching out into everything now. I'm going to skip that one because this is the same. So I went to North Carolina Economic Development Association, which is a statewide peer group. They have a forum. I went to their forum and, gave a little synopsis of where we are and the interest in the commissioners in knowing more about advisory boards. And so it was very interesting responses. It was mixed, and I had governments and chambers and standalone economic development organizations and one consulting firm that does strategic planning and support of programs in towns all over the state respond. And it was really interesting. So they are mixed in effectiveness. Some places started them and stopped them. Other places have changed the way that they address issues with flexible engagement models, meaning that they might be industry-based or topical. They may have a time limit of 60 or 90 days where you're bringing experts together in your region probably to discuss a specific either interest, project, problem. Maybe you have an infrastructure issue and you're trying to figure out the best way to put your limited assets towards solving that. So you bring folks together. So that's one of the ways. And the reason for that, and the reason that the standalone all the time advisory boards seem to have moved, either gone away or moved into more of this model, is because of the staff time and administration requirements to keep a board meeting and have your sunshine laws and all the things. It is work for staff, and sometimes you have to meet because you're on a meeting schedule and you may not have a topic that is pertinent to be meeting for. Anyway, that was the responses that I got for that. And then sometimes the board will decide that they have their own objectives that may not align with the elected board's priorities. So there's always a keeping that in line. So that was some of the good and bad responses that I got. The industry-specific stakeholder sessions, it was #1 in kind of what's happening now. Business roundtables and listening sessions as well. And then partner or chamber association-led convenings where the information is shared. And then sometimes engagement tied directly to active initiatives. So if we had a very large project, maybe an industrial park that we were building that had massive warehousing, and we needed to really look at the interstate being widened sooner than later, we might be, bringing together a group that's directly tied to that initiative. But I do want to invite John Saffold, our Executive Director of the Chamber, to talk about industry-specific stakeholder sessions, because we meet regularly to share our work. And when I met with him recently, we talked about advisory, this particular topic, and he immediately said, "Oh, we're starting industry-specific stakeholder sessions." And I was like, well, that's great. That's exactly what we were, I was gathering information about. So, John, if you want to, I don't know if he's still in here. You want to come up and just tell them what your current plans are?
Where's the appropriate place to speak?
I think this one's on. It's just there.
Good evening, commissioners. How are y'all doing tonight? Good, good. So as you know, the Chamber is constantly working on developing our programming. As I was just sharing with some of our visitors here tonight, our guests, We, this past year, have a full board for the first time since we reopened in 2021. We're expanding our volunteer base with a lot of our new businesses in town and younger residents that are business people in town. So there's a lot of energy and interest in engaging in the community through the chamber. And so it is our desire to support the work of what the town does so well with our staff and certainly with what you all are doing with our new town board. And we had a meeting, I think, back in January with one of our volunteers to discuss the formal development of a economic development, government affairs, economic development committee. We may call it something else, but essentially that's what it is. And so we've invited Shannon to participate on that formally as a representative from the town, our liaison with the town that was appointed several years ago. And we've had a very strong working relationship. I would say in the past couple of months, as the dust has settled on certain areas, we've been meeting more consistently and shared with her what we are working on developing. And that right now looks like sector-specific roundtables where we would have members from various economic and business sectors that meet together on a periodic basis in order to discuss concerns that they have, but also strengths that they see within the community, and then to share that with our town staff so that they can more capably guide what is going on to support business development. So that is one thing that we're looking at doing right now. And actually, if y'all know Karen Farmer, who is Sea Community Foundation, she's also on our board. So she and I are working together on formalizing that strategic plan. We had a meeting last week, again today, next week, for the purpose of presenting that to our new town manager when we meet in a couple of weeks. And then, of course, sharing it with Shannon as well, just so that we can flesh that out so we can look at how we can constructively support the community. Shannon, is that good?
That's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
The work that we do really dovetails with the work that the chamber does. We try to make sure that we take our limited assets and get the most we can out of it. So we're not doing the same things for the business community. And that way we're not overlapping or diminishing the efforts of either group. And that's worked really well, and I expect that we'll continue to do that even as the chamber grows and the town, staff may increase a little bit to accommodate the growth of the town in general. The recommended path forward, I say recommended just based on what the feedback was. It's not necessarily like I'm recommending what to do, but it would be to focus on the execution of the work plan and business and industrial recruitment in 2026, since we're starting that and the wheels are rolling. To use targeted time-bound engagement, so those industry and sector-led committees. Also, if we were to have a project or an issue that would come up that doesn't fit into those industry and sector chamber, that we would form our own, topic-specific time range group of experts to give us the advice and help you make decisions and strategize. And then it's with a very young economic development program, and I've done these programs in other places. It's a lot of heavy lifting at the beginning that isn't very visible, but if there are a lot of layers of governance and requirements, it can slow that down. And we just really I need like another 6 or 8 months to have everything kind of wrapped in a bow where every day in this town hall is economic development work. There's not a lot of administration or setup or take care of or all those things. We're kind of out the chute and going. So then I put it in a little bit of a timeline well, a temporary pause. So what we're hoping is that, you know, we are allowed to grow. We understand that the concept has merit, and it does, in many different forms, as I've discovered from this peer review of advisory committees in other places. So it would be to allow time to design the right structure, and that would be to revisit after staff expansion and our BRE and site readiness program are official and launched and moving. And then this would be a suggested timeline, and that would be based on a lot of factors that aren't in my control right now, but what the 2027 budget looks like, what the staffing fills out to be, and then we could check in and for the, you know, check in for the following year or the end of the fiscal year of 27, however that looks, to see what makes sense moving forward. Probably have a lot more data to evaluate at that time, and activities. One of the things that Commissioner Roa asked about was, you know, like KPIs and keeping records, and that was in our plan to establish a record-keeping system, which is really evaluating different systems and choosing one that works financially and in scope for us. And so we're right on the edge of having that. I think I have a meeting next week to get a full quote that will be included in the upcoming, it is already in my suggested budget numbers. So that way we would be able to track and monitor and give you dashboards, you know, to the day of activities and contacts, and really start making the work very effective versus now when we're putting things in spreadsheets and keeping track in different ways. You can do it right now, but in another year that would be kind of impossible. So we are definitely going to be on the track to have more of what you're looking for in terms of reporting. That kind of data will definitely tell us where we have the most interest, the most activity, where we're not getting any interest, and we may need to go out and stir it up. Maybe that's the reason to have an advisory committee, because we need experts to tell us what would be attractive to a certain group to come and invest. So that is the presentation, and I'm happy to take any questions that you have.
Shannon, if I could just add, I would also say too, we are in the process of identifying a consultant for our strategic planning process, and looking at both the economic development strategic plan, looking at the work that Shannon is doing with Main Street. I would also encourage us to pause and make sure that that aligns with what we're going to be doing in our strategic plan as well. And as we go through that process, that'll help shape some of the key performance indicators that you all are looking for.
Thank you.
Any questions from the board? Commissioner Baxter?
I don't have any, but thank you for pulling that together. I think that all of what you said makes perfect sense. I know that it takes a long time to kind of build and establish and then build a department up, and I'm excited to know that we're going to be rocking and rolling with the tangibles in short order.
Thank you. Me too.
Adams?
No, thank you, Shannon. No, thank you.
Commissioner Davis?
No.
Commissioner Roa?
No, thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
No.
Thank you. Thank you, Shannon. Next, we have our Main Street program. Before we get you up, Teresa, welcome to Zebulon, Katie. We are so sorry.
It's like I've been here a while, right?
Let's
Just jump right in.
welcome our town manager.
Thank you.
Our apologies for
happy
not
to be
welcoming you.
here.
We are so grateful you're here. Thank you so much for hitting the ground running. We know that while you started officially Monday, that you've been doing a lot for us and for our community, and for myself, and I'm sure for Mayor Pro Tem, everyone on the board. We appreciate you. Thank you. All right, Teresa, you're up.
I'll let Ms. Christine Ross kick us off to our Main Street Board.
Mayor and Commissioners, good evening. My name is Christine Ross. I'm the Secretary for the Main Street Board. I'm here tonight on behalf of LaTanya McCabe, who is our chair, and she's a little bit under the weather, so I'm filling in. So this presentation, we're going to provide more information about Zebulon's Main Street program. Currently, we have 7 members. We have a senior advisor and a youth advisor. A couple of us that are able-bodied are here tonight. For those of you who may not be familiar, the Main Street Conference is it's recognized as being the largest statewide downtown revitalization conference in the United States. Of course, we're planning to attend, and anyone that has a passion for downtown, we hope you can also join us. I think in the past, some commissioners have also attended as well. We're going to be preparing to go to that early next month. It's from March 10th to the 12th. So the Main Street program is one of the town's many tools that we have for supporting small businesses, reinvestment, and economic sustainability. At its core, the program is volunteer-based, and it's built upon the town's strategic 2030 plan and also Main Street's 4-point approach, which includes organization, design, promotion, and economic sustainability. I think we can all agree that a thriving downtown equals a healthy economy. Mayor and Commissioners, thank you. You ready?
Thank you, Christine. Mayor, members of the board, LaTanya, our chair, she is under the weather this evening, and Christine was gracious enough to step in. She's also the one that presented at our last meeting the logo design that she's been working on. And we have some of our members that are here this evening. Now, some of the questions that have come up: what is the Main Street program? It's a nationally recognized program. It is economically development framework focused on downtown revitalization, and that is what its core function is, downtown revitalization. The program operates at 3 levels. Main Street America, that is what kicked this off in the 1980s when we heard about urban flight. When everyone was leaving the cities and moving out, we started seeing historic buildings being torn down, and so Main Street America was formed. Almost immediately behind that, North Carolina Main Street was formed. And then we also have local programs like Zebulon's that meets and is tailored to actually Zebulon's needs. The history, again, the town was accepted into a very competitive process. And only just a few, maybe a couple of towns are permitted to get into the DAC, or the Downtown Associate Community Program, every 2 to 4 years. It depends on the state's budget and their staffing. We were fortunate enough to be notified in 19 that we would be able to come into the DAC community in January of 21. So again, we had a waiting period there. We also were later able to go and be accepted into the Main Street program. And then in 25, we were accredited, nationally recognized by the Main Street America program as being accredited in 25. And the Main Street program, the structure. Zebulon's Main Street program is administered locally through Zebulon's Downtown Development Association. It's a quasi-organization. That is something that for some of our town board members that were here and have been here for some time, remember when we had representatives from the Department of Commerce came out and they presented 3 different types of organizational structures. And at that time, it was selected to have what we call a quasi-organizational structure, and that's what we have moved forward and organized under that. This structure allows us to engage volunteers in the community, pursue grants and partnerships. The town supports and guides the work that the volunteers do. And again, this is largely a volunteer organization with specialties, just like you have seen today, and with again, with the logos and some of the design work. It is made up of people and individuals have an interest in downtown or a special gift. Some of them have owned buildings downtown. Some have actually been through the process of redevelopment and understand how difficult that is. So we're very fortunate to have them as a part of this volunteer process. So, and then again, we maintain continuity beyond budget and annual cycles with this organization. Also, downtowns across America face common problems, and that's one, Shannon mentioned a forum that she's part of with economic development. We are a part of a forum, the town of Zebulon is part of a forum on Main Street that we talk to communities across the state, and it really helps us to save time and money with research. We all have, in these older towns, we're talking about historic preservation. A lot of these buildings are around 1900. So we're having aging buildings, aging infrastructure, costly repairs. You know, how do you get businesses into those areas when they are usually mom and pop businesses on limited budgets? How can you make them a success? How can you work with the property owners as well to make sure that that tenant stays there for them as well? So these are all things that we face each and every day. It's not a matter of just having a building filled, because we could fill buildings quite easily, be honest with you, but it's the quality. It is being successful. It's sustainability and economic development and building your future and what you want to see your downtown look like. You've got great bones, and we want to see that build out. Main Street helps fill those gaps with resources such as downtown marketing snapshots. Again, it's a resource that we have through Main Street. North Carolina Main Street gives us that information. I have not received one this year. I asked for those, and we will go and look for, get that update. But they tell us where we're lacking in our downtown and what our needs are. One of the things the last time I talked to them was specialty food markets. I may not have just thought that myself, but it not only looks downtown Zebulon, it looks 5 miles out. It goes into Johnston County, it goes into Nash County, and looking at what and where the town of Zebulon pulls from, what are the needs. Again, it's a resource. It saves us time and money. So, and then when we also look at Main Street, focuses on the area where the market alone may not be able to act quickly. It's easier for your volunteers to be out there on the street, to come back and report to you, or to report to me, and me work with your manager, me to be able to work with your department heads and say, this is where I see a need. Main Street, again, as we've talked about, organized around the 4-point approach: organization, promotion, design, and economic vitality. Four points together are interlocking. No one alone can make the program successful. It's kind of like a town with an individual department. One department can't do it all. You have to have expertise in different areas. So when we look at that, we want to reinforce one another. This structure allows Zebulon to move incrementally while staying aligned with those long-term goals that the town has established when we've looked at that 2030 plan, and now you're getting ready to go through that strategic planning process again. Organization. Again, we talk about looking at the program focuses on sustainability. The program builds partnerships, and that's one of the things I think, you know, is again, Shannon's talking about. That's why economic development can take a while. Building those partnerships. I got a call today about a program that I talked to someone a couple of years ago. It wasn't the right time and place. Now they're considering revisiting it. I said, please call me back. Now may be the right time for the town. It may be right time for that organization. So it wasn't at that time. So we may all be ready now. We're working with the Zebulon Chamber, as you've seen tonight. We work with Women's Club, which is the Health and Safe Zebulon program. East Wake, we were attending the East Wake Business Alliance the other day. Again, a great group of women and businesses. I was at a People First Tourism meeting last night. Visit Raleigh. The magazine is on the desk of Visit Raleigh Now, getting ready for its final go-through, will be published and coming out soon. We speak at Lions Club, Women's Club. We bring back information. Again, and we have added youth and senior advisors to our organization. Promotion, again, we have to tell our story, and I want to thank you so much for what you've done in hiring a communications director. It makes it so much easier to tell our story when you have someone with the background that she does. I think you're seeing some of those efforts that are coming out, and again, it's partnerships with the connections we made with the downtown businesses for February and March, and you're going to see those talking about and highlight some of our downtown businesses, and I think that's great. And do not forget, tomorrow, Andrew Jernigan, 1 o'clock, grand opening. Again, an historic building that building is very near and dear to our heart. We have Miss Nell Carroll with us today. Her father is going to be there. Again, these are what we build. We promote these positive things. We build relationships, but they take time. And so we're excited about not only what Nell brings to this, the history of that building, but where Andrew Jernigan is taking this to the next level, and that he wants to be consistent and align again with Zebulon's plans. I get excited. I'll just tell you a few things. We talked about the coolest thing made in North Carolina. North Carolina Chamber of Commerce. McClellan Bagpipes won 5th place. That was here at the podium just a couple of years ago. Greater Raleigh Convention and Visitors Bureau. To the best of my knowledge, it's the only time it's ever happened in Eastern Wake County that Christy Whipple with Old Raleigh Distillery won the Isaac Hunter Award for service that was nominated through Economic Development Department. We had our first North Carolina champion. Again, recognized last year, Patricia Robertson, that she was recognized at the national conference. We will have another one recognized in March of this year. Again, promoted across the state. Small Business Saturday, where we're working with young entrepreneurs downtown, supporting Spring Fest, Rock the Block, Candy Cane Lane. Video series that we've just talked about, working with East Wake TV and your communications department. New website that is coming online, as well as a downtown Instagram page. We have to tell our story. We have to promote it. And it's an exciting time for all of us. Design, physical environment is very important. I think this is an area where we're talking about facade grants, we talk about the streetscape, we talk about walkability. These are a lot of things. We're thankful for the work that DOT did down there with the curb cuts and the crosswalks. Now we can build upon that, and we're looking at doing that here very, very soon. I want to give you just some of the design examples. Facade grants since 2018. The grant disbursements from the town have totaled almost $60,000, and that sounds like a lot of money. But when you look at the private investment costs for those facades, $850,000 was spent in private dollars. That's a pretty good return on your money right there, and it makes a big difference. So many times we forget about what, and I go by addresses, and I apologize. We forget what 122 and 120. Well, I'm trying to think of names where Pinafore was. I mean, 124 and 126 North Arundel, they were boarded up. We forget that Norris Brewing at 120 just came online. We forget the building that was torn down there at 116, at the Fall Line, and the remodeling and rehabilitation of that. We forget about there at 209 Old Raleigh Distillery, 217 McClellan Bagpipes that came in. That used to be the old Malone Drugs. We forget about these, and then we have to take these pictures and remember these snapshots. It was not that long ago, but so I forget, and I'm down there all the time. So we talk about the annual purchasing and help with the Women's Club of the watering of the plants downtown, development of walking loops so that people are encouraged to go downtown, not for a hike, but to get out and stretch their legs and walk by our shops. strengthening existing business. We are all about training. We are working with the business owner. We're working with the town. We're looking at those reinvestments downtown. We're talking about tax credit incentives. Emphasis on business openings, and not just openings, but for them to stay there. We know there's turnover, there's a high turnover across the country for small mom and pop businesses, but what we try to do is reduce that as much as possible through training. We're looking at building upfit grants and developing those, and looking at our facade grant program. Long-term economic sustainability, again, is what I keep going back to. We also talk about vacancy rate. I'm talking, and when you go downtown, I go, you know, it's high. It's higher than you want it to be. It's always higher than we want it to be. But if you're looking, look behind, go down the alley instead. Look at where the permits are. Look at what permits have been pulled. You're talking about a lot of work that's being done, and if those permits that have been pulled actually come to fruition, you're looking at reducing that to about 12%. I've got, I believe I have the map, and I'll pass out to you, okay? And part of this economic sustainability and vitality is also the expansion of the Main Street boundary, which we'll bring that back to you at a later time. But it is so that businesses have availability to additional resources. Being in that Main Street boundary provides the opportunity to apply for additional resources. I can't guarantee that they will receive them, but it does add the opportunity for them to look at that. We're looking at additional in the green, east and west, well, it'd be West Vance and East Horton Street to look at boundary expansion there. I know I've gone long. How much time do we have? Okay. We're also talking about outcomes that matter for economic development, health, new businesses opening and expansion. Main Street also allows us to collect data. A snapshot is difficult to measure the success in 1 year. But what it allows us to do over a period of time, it requires us to do this. We can look at trends. So we look at where we have expansions, we look at investments overall for upfits, and you're talking about, you know, when I'm talking about upfits now, I'm talking about not just facades, but the overall upfit, almost 1.3 million facade improvements, total facade investment, and of course, again, compared to what we were talking about earlier, these dates are different, and that's the reason that these numbers are different, and a vacancy rate of 22 to potentially 12%. What's working and what's challenging? Increased private investment, we're always working on that. We talk to individuals every day. New and expanding businesses. I want to thank the town board, again, partnerships, for the work that you went through to get the sewer line and work with private entities along behind the railroad. What that's allowing us to do is work and now have multiple buildings, maybe 50 to 60,000 square feet now of individual businesses that are coming in. Already one business that's located there is also has a permit to expand. So, but because of your looking forward and working with the railroad, we know that's not easy, with working with individuals, you've done a great job, and now you've provided for future investment and development on West Vance Street. So thank you so much. Again, it's allow us, as we fill these spaces, increased downtown visibility and activity. Engaging property owners who have undecided about selling or reinvesting. I am also working with School of Government. They have a program where students each semester can select certain buildings to look at for reinvestment opportunities and as a study program. And some of our businesses have agreed for the students to do that. So School of Government calls me every semester. They say, are we still on go if someone selects it? And I'll check with the property owners, and they say yes. and because it's information that they have. Because of the distance to Chapel Hill, we haven't had a class to take one of those yet, but we feel that we will soon, and we're excited about that opportunity. Encouraging building upfits and older structures, aligning private property decisions with broader downtown goals. Again, there's a lot of changes and moving parts, and they all have to come together as puzzle pieces. Economic development, Main Street direction will be revisited in the new strategic plan process, and you've hit on that this evening. We're going to have to look at those. Is that going to be in alignment? And what's exciting about that is that we can pull as a part of this at the same time, or right on the backside of that, we can pull our representatives from the Department of Commerce in to help this Main Street volunteer group to go through that process to make sure that they align, so that it's in alignment with each other. They come out, again, we don't get direct funding from being in the Main Street program, but we do have resources, and they will come out here for little to no cost. So they will help us to realign with the town's goal. Again, I want to thank you. Again, it is a new program. I think that we, much as Shannon says, we have got our foundation underneath us. One of the things I would like to commend Commissioner Baxter on, and she's mentioned several times, is talking about funding and resources and where do we go from here. I think the Main Street program and where it is, we've got, we have been learning. We've got the policies in place, we've got the bylaws in place, we now have our youth and our senior sponsors. I think we are now to that place that we can move forward and start looking at ways that we can raise funds that we could only do with a nonprofit arm, that we could not do as a town department. And so it gives some, it hopefully will take some pressure off the town and some flexibility that as a town department it would not have. So again, I think the board did a great job in selecting that option as a quasi, and I think that we're ready to move into that next, take that next step. I know that's a lot. I apologize.
That's okay. I just want to add a few comments. You know, in the few 4 days, day 4, 4 days that I've been here, I think one of the things to consider when you're thinking about your Main Street program, it's only a small portion of your downtown. And one of the things that as we think about our strategic planning process is our overall downtown master plan. And so I hear about the vision that we have for downtown, but I haven't seen anything yet that shows like this is how Main Street fits into this overarching vision. And so when we engage in that process, I would encourage us to make sure that we include some resources or some thought into an overall downtown master plan that helps you all be able to articulate what we want to see in downtown. How do we attract the businesses that we're looking for to come into downtown? Just piggybacking off of what Teresa said about using data to help us determine what type of businesses we want downtown. That way we can be very intentional. So I've talked to Teresa and Shannon about making sure that we incorporate this into the larger strategic planning process so that we can make sure that we're capturing your expectations and your priorities for downtown, and then we begin to incorporate that into a larger downtown master plan.
Thank you, Teresa. So, Teresa, with the nonprofit arm of this, does that operate like any other nonprofit where people can make tax-deductible donations, like individuals or businesses? It works the same way? It
will. Now that we're working, we're going to be ready to move in more into that area. We will get that set up as far as accounts and that sort of thing, and it will be, and that's one of the reasons that the 501c3 was selected, because it would be tax deductible.
Sure. Okay, thank you very much. Any questions from the board, Mayor Pro Tem?
I just have one. The average cost of the rental, the spaces that are available, do we have an average cost for rental space?
Well, it varies widely because the buildings are in total very extreme conditions, but it's going to average somewhere around $22 a square foot.
$22. All right, thank you.
You're talking about some, you know, as far as investment in the downtown, I'm excited because when I look at it, in the Main Street boundary part of downtown, you're talking about over $18 million in total value in a very small area of that boundary. You're talking, and so when you look at that per acre, you're talking about over $2 million per acre. Some of the most valuable property you have that you want to maximize its use and not just fill it. As I said, we can fill it, but that is not the intent. You've got some very valuable property and we should treat it like the gem it is.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Roa?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Baxter?
Yes, so if we talk about doing the boundary expansion, I'm kind of excited because that seems to me that not only is that going to bring a lot of extra resources to parts of town that we really have not typically in the past considered part of our downtown. Do you have an idea of what the added value would be to the overall Main Street program? And if you don't, that's okay, because I didn't give you any kind of time to do any research, but just any thoughts?
I don't have a dollar value, but I will give you an example of what some of those, especially the reinvestment on West Vance, would be missing. There's only one property on West Vance, and that is what I'm going to call now for the Jernigan property. That is actually in the Main Street boundary. So Main Street partners with UNCG for design services. If it is a outside building, if it's a commercial building, they will provide those design services for free. If it is to do apartments upstairs on a two-story building, they will even design the interior for that. So that is a free, again, service that some of those that are right there on that cusp, now that we have new sewer to it, but I cannot submit their building for design services. So it could be thousands of dollars per building that resources that we could be providing that we're missing out on because they're not in that boundary.
Excellent, thank you so much.
Commissioner Adams?
No, thank you, Teresa.
No, thank you. Just looking forward to the continuation of revitalizing downtown.
Thank you. Thank you, Teresa.
I want to add one thing. That photo is from 7:30 last Tuesday night. That's how much is happening downtown on a Tuesday night. So
Full picture.
that's a huge change from just a couple of years ago.
For sure. It's beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Teresa. Next, we will go to old business, finance. Bobby? Director Fitz. Sorry, I didn't mean to say Bobby.
This is a revisit of last week's budget amendment that was tabled to tonight. So we're ready for, did we get the amended one out?
It may not be in the packet. Okay. I'm looking to see if it's in.
I think the slides for this are at the beginning of the presentation.
Oh, there's really no slides, but the amendment to add the additional funding, do y'all have that amendment?
It's in the folder. I'll have it printed for you all.
We have it. I think this was taken off of the agenda and brought to this by Commissioner Roa, so I don't know if Commissioner Roa wants to lead this conversation or ask any questions here since it was tabled by him. You don't have any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, so are we ready to pass it, to make a motion?
Just for a point of clarification, there was an amendment that was emailed out. Are we voting on the one that's in the packet or the amended?
One, has it been?
At the time, it should have an additional 15,000. for the travel and
You
training.
said it. Earlier? Oh, yes, we all got that. I didn't print it.
Okay, do you want, you need, let me get a copy of that for you.
Print it? Yes, if you can get a copy of it.
Copy of that for you, I thought that was included.
Everybody, if that's easier.
Well, really, the only change
I was about to say
from,
it's a different. I think, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I would say the change from maybe what was in the original packet and the one was in last week's packet was the travel and training going from 10 to 25,000, and to offset that, a fund balance appropriation of 15,000. Everything else the same.
Okay, thank you. Do you all still need it, or is anyone ready to make a motion? Do we need to have a conversation? Nikki's gonna print it.
That's what they're trying to do. That should be kind of good to have it on the screen.
I'm sorry?
But that should be good to have it on the screen.
All right, so we will take a 5-minute recess while we get those papers printed. Thank you. I try to give you time to sit, okay? You're welcome. All right, we now have the copy of the amendment that was sent out. Does anyone have any discussion about it? Commissioner Adams? Commissioner Davis?
No.
Commissioner Roa?
No.
Mayor Pro Tem?
No.
Commissioner Baxter?
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we pass ordinance 2026-23.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? Second. Discussion? We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor? Motion passes. Do we have a
You do.
motion to adjourn?
I make a move to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Meeting adjourned.